Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague, my competitor, and our friend, Ken Winter.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. As I've told many since this honor was announced, been challenged to wrap my mind around the whole distinction. I'm still am tonight as I stand here. No, I'm truly overwhelmed, as I know there are so many others deserving that have quietly contributed much more to Michigan journalism than I have. I've spent most of my career in a very small northern Michigan pond doing what I thought every professional journalist should do: protect, promote, and honor the First Amendment and freedom of the press. This event is certainly a cause for celebration as we gather again for the 26th year to honor our profession and its importance in our democracy. I stood here last year thinking to myself it would be the last time to attend this event after nominating Dawn Hertz, a longtime friend and our then recently retired Michigan Press Association attorney. No, I died 1,000 deaths to introduce Dawn for her well-deserved honor after I had to follow two famed and very polished Detroit television broadcasters, Bill Bonds and Jerry Hodak, and then Detroit Free Press editor Ron Zondowski, a born comedian, who was introduced by very polished speakers, who all had been introduced by Sue Carter, another very polished speaker, broadcaster, journalist, North Pole explorer, lawyer, professor, and now clergy. By the time it was my turn, my mouth turned marshmallow, and my eyes glazed over my notes, trying to read my remarks of introduction. I should mention my son Michael is following, So here I am again tonight, thanks to one of the best newspaper editors in the state, Bill Thomas, now editor of the Traverse City Record Eagle and previously Oakland Press. Bill, to be nominated by you is truly an honor, and I'm deeply humbled. Thank you very much. This is certainly cause for celebration, not only for me personally, but for our family, as this is the first time tonight I've seen my father, Richard Winter, since he first learned of having cancer in early January while spending the winter in Florida, and has since began a series of chemo treatments. He arrived back home to Lansing Thursday with a broken wrist and a green, white, and cast to attend this event tonight. Since he broke his wrist, I went downtown and I bought him some walking sticks so that he can, so I can give it to him tonight so he won't tumble again and break his other wrist. Funny, isn't it, that kids end up being the parents? Thank you very so much, Dad, for coming. You should know his father, my grandfather, was a chemist and professor at then Michigan State College and lived a few blocks away at 533 Albert Street in East Lansing, which I understand is across from the new Albert Place condominiums at the corner of Albert and Bailey, advertised in the back page of the MSU Alumni Magazine this month. Wonder if I could get a unit for this commercial. Looks like a great location right across campus for football games. I should mention my son Michael is following his great-grandfather's steps, about to receive his PhD in chemistry from Berkeley next month, who along with my wife Ginger is working on a PhD in mythological studies at Santa Barbara Pacifica Graduate Institute. I guess both are sciences at the opposite end of the spectrum. Regrettably, they could not be with us tonight. I also want to recognize my dad's wife, Norma, who puts up with my father and has been our mother for the last 24 years after my mother passed away, and my brother Bob, who brought both of them here tonight and helped my dad in Florida during his difficult time, and Ann and Tina Watson sitting with us, longtime Lansing friends since my days at Lansing Everett High School, and Katie Duggan, a friend and daughter of my political science colleague at North Central Michigan College. None of them, to the best of my recollection, have ever been to a journalism event except Katie, who came last year with her dad to our J School 100th anniversary celebration. So Ed Wendover, wherever you are, and I doubt just see you, please be kind to them. They don't know you or our rowdy journalism nature after being at the bar too long. You all have been my second family ever since I began as a teen writer for the Lansing State Journal at age 14, some 46 years ago. During this time, 4 people in this room played a major role in my growth as a journalist. 3 of them preceded me in the Journalism Hall of Fame. Ben Burns, whose wife, incidentally, Beverly, I need to add, was an early mentor and editor before becoming an attorney who could not be here. Ben was my first editor at the Lansing State Journal, who introduced me to Beefeater's gin. Stan Soffin, one of my first MSU J School instructors, who gave me an A on a final project but told me not to let the department chair, Frank Singer, see my typos. And Dawn Hertz, who not only was a good legal counsel, but I never heard say much more than Jiminy Cricket in her career when we were until we were fighting an FOI. Then I heard her swear for the first time and only time in private. The fourth, whom has always been in my own personal Hall of Fame, Marcia Van Ness, a former Lansing State Journal Capitol Bill reporter, who would tell us she was going to the Hill. I think she secretly wished she was in Washington, D.C., but more importantly, she reminded me never to assume the woman standing with a lawmaker holding hands was his wife. A life lesson about assuming when reporting. I also want to recognize Dr. Lucinda Davenport, who puts up with my many questions so politely with her Texas drawl, and Margie Anderson, the behind-the-scenes organizer with a friendly voice for organizing this event, as well as the J School for providing me not only a first-class education and now continued long-time professional association opportunity to teach. Know many others of you have meant very much to me in this room. I wish I had time tonight to personally acknowledge you, but I know that everybody needs to be home, including the 2 that drove down with me today from Petoskey in a snowstorm, Julie Woodoff, online editor for the Petoskey News Review, and Maureen Watts, whose family started feeding me as a single person when I moved to Charlevoix from the MSU campus in 1972. They will all be anxious to leave before midnight. We all have to work in Petoskey Monday morning. I'm expected for 2 3-hour classes Monday at North Central Michigan College, so I better show up. Teaching for MSU is easier because it's online and I don't have to shave or get out of my shorts and wear my well-worn J School t-shirt that my wife would probably confiscate if she saw me wearing it. I want to leave you with several thoughts, however. First, know that everyone in this room can make a difference, and many of you have, not only in promoting journalism using best practice, but mentoring our next generation. If you haven't mentored, promise me that you will take a part of your day to visit a classroom and or invite an aspiring young journalism student to shadow you on the job for the day. If you have already, and I know many of you have many times over, promise you will do it again. Trust me, this will be remembered for years to come. Secondly, journalism is by no means dead or going away. I've heard this pronounced so many times by those in our ranks, as well as by some politicians and other leaders who publicly tell us about the importance of the First Amendment, the free press, but often privately, quietly jump for glee, thinking no one will be around to watch and report about their activities to the public anymore. I will admit the ranks have thinned, but have by no means disappeared. We are still challenged with finding a new and better economic model to support news gathering, but I know this will come. For me, the excitement now comes that with so many people being able to participate in journalism, no longer requiring money to own a printing press or broadcast tower to the internet, thanks to the internet. The challenge for us in both the trenches of daily news gathering and those in journalism education is to make sure that journalists using new media practice with the same standards that most of us in this room grew up with: accuracy, fairness, and balance. Again, I am deeply moved, humbled, and never sure I will completely comprehend what took place tonight, but from the bottom of my heart, I offer my sincerest appreciation and thank you for placing me in the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame while I'm still alive. Thank you again.